Good evening, and thank you for once again coming on my YouTube page. My name is Elder Belinda Carmichael, and I just want to talk a little bit about my story and my journey. And we as women, we all have a story. We all have a journey. And I just want to talk a little bit about my story and my journey. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come listen to me. Sharing my story, I want to talk about my homeless experience and from that to accomplish my own purpose. I believe we as women, there's a journey in our lives that we have to take, and it's not always easy. So there's four words I want to talk about today, and that's my purpose, my pain, my process, and yes, my passion. My purpose. You may say, well, Belinda, what is purpose? Purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or even exists. Turn this down a little bit. Your purpose will always be with you. Why I say that? Because in the book of Jeremiah 1:5, the word of God says, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before your grandmama and granddaddy got together, before your mom and dad even got together, God already knew you. He had formed you in your mother's womb before you even knew who you was. All right, before there was even a you, he knew you. That's good news right there. So my purpose, what is my purpose? My purpose has equipped me to go through the process, and the process enabled me to endure the pain. And the pain is how my ministry was birthed through me. It wasn't easy. And you're going to learn later on as I'm talking about my purpose and my journey. It was hard. It was difficult. And in that time, my ministry was birthed. And I'm going to talk about my ministry, Women Choosing to Win, in a few minutes. But first, I want to talk to you about one word that says sometimes. And this word dropped down in my spirit because everybody feels this sometime, some way or another. Sometimes you have to go down a different path that's not so pretty, that's not so comfortable. Sometimes God wants to show you what's really inside of you. Sometimes he wants to really see what you're made of. He wants you to know what you're made of. He wants to show you who you really are. And sometimes God takes you on a different route. And my route is what I'm going to talk about today. The route that God took me on. It wasn't easy. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't popular. Okay? But it was a route that I needed to go for God to birth something inside of me. In this route is my story. But I can go back, years. But I kind of want to start 2010 and go on until where we are present today. I was in a valley of pain, and in that pain, in that valley, should I say, saw my best victories. When I was going through some of the struggles that I was going to, them was my best victories, my best triumphs. Even though I was in a valley, even though I was going through people talking about me saying this and saying that, wow, I don't understand why you're going in a homeless shelter. I don't understand why you don't have to. I didn't have to. But that's what God wanted me to be, because God was birthing something in me. We always want to, go on a higher platform to be seen and all this. But sometimes you got to go down the valley first. And so I went in the valley of rejections. I went in the valley of shame, embarrassments, losses. These are valleys. I was in the valley of setbacks, all during the time when I was going through. And I was in the valley of fears. And we as women, sometimes we have a lot of fears as women. When I look back in 2020, there was so much I was going through, it was unimaginable. But I feel like I went from 2019 to 2021. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but He given us power and love and a sound mind. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge him, for he will direct your path. He'll make the crooked straight. He will guide you, but you got to first trust in the process. And a lot of times we don't want to trust in the process. What is process? Well, let me tell you what my process definition is. It's when you know there is an end to where you're going, but you're stuck in the middle of a season. You're stuck in the middle for a season. Let me read to you again. It's when you know there's an end to where you're going, but you're just stuck in the middle for a season. Now, processes don't last always. It just feels like it does. It feels like it's lasting forever. That's why they call it a process. That's why we have to trust the process. And sometime in that process, no one want to go through the process. No one want to go through that. It's not comfortable. It's stressful. It's embarrassing when you got people talking about you like they talked about me when I was living in that home and said, my own family. They probably watching right now. Y'all know y'all talked about me. Y'all couldn't understand what God was taking me to. That was something that I was accustomed of. But I was in my spirit, in my heart. I knew I had a heart. I knew I had a calling to women's. I knew God was birthing something in me. I didn't quite know how, but which way he was taking me. That was my journey. That was my process. I couldn't understand why. Couldn't you just tell me, Lord, I would be obedient? But no, I had to go through because every woman in that shelter, I met them. I later was hired to work in that shelter. Even though I was in the shelter, they turned around and hired me. Over 250 people. Can you imagine being homeless, working for the homeless? Well, that's what happened to me because God had a purpose for me going to that shelter. And every type of woman that there is, I believe I seen them in that shelter because I had to see them women so I could have compassion. If you ain't been through nothing, sometimes you can't reach every woman. But every woman that came through them doors, I had to greet them, put a sign them a certain agenda, I had to meet them. And somebody was some real big booger bears. But because the God in me and the love in me and the compassion I had for hurting women, they didn't find me no threat because I came in the name of the Lord. I came to help them with their pain and to get them empowered to be the best they can be. So doing all that, that's how God was birthing all that time, birthing my ministry to come together. And what is my ministry? It's women choosing to win. Everything that we're going through as women, there's winning in your situation. You can't lose when you're already winning. I never seen nobody say they lost when they done won. It's winning is in everything that you go through, every struggle, every pain, every setback, every loss. COVID-19 out there. I'm still winning. You're still winning through it. You're on this YouTube right now because you're winning. Nothing can stop you. We are women choosing to win. So in April 2012, I'm glad to announce again, my ministry was birthed right in the middle of a homeless shelter. See, God don't always put you in positions where you can brag. See, he wants to be the one bragging on you. But a lot of times we want to say what we did. Girl, this is what I did. This is my ministry. No, it ain't. God birthed that in you. There's a saying that I want to read to you. It says, from every wound, there is a scar. And from every scar tells a story. A story that says, I have survived. I'm a survivor. From every wound, there is a scar. And for every scar, tell a story. And that story says, I'm a survivor. And every woman listening on here today, those that may come on later, you are a survivor. This ministry was birthed because God sees and God hears your pain. There is greatness in us as women. Do you know that you as a woman, you carry the seed Not a great man was born and didn't come through a woman. Every great man came through the woman. We carried them 9 months. We are the backbone of the church. We are powerful women of God. You didn't just happen to be where you at today. You are a strong woman. A strong woman. Never forget that. You have purpose. We're here to know that we're challenged on every side, women, but we're winners. We are winners. We're here to inspire and equip and encourage women. This is what ministry is all about, to empower you, to encourage you, to step into ministry. Step in what God has given you, your God-given talents and your God-given gifts. He's given you the ability to be who he called you to be. And lastly, this ministry was birthed so that you can realize and I can realize that we are women choosing to win. That's my passion. And sometimes you may say, well, I don't understand what my passion is. What is my passion? Whatever that you find yourself loving to do, whatever you find yourself that you really want to do, and you do it all day, probably for free, you just love it. Your passion, your purpose is somewhere in there. What is my purpose? It's somewhere in your passion. And I just want to remind you that in everything that you're going through, there's winning in it. You can't lose, ladies. God put that in my spirit. We are winners. We're going to always be a winner. Why? Because God died on the cross for us some 2,000 years ago. And he died so that I can get up. And we're up now. We are winners. And so I just want you to know that I have several platforms that you can view. I'm on, of course, YouTube now, Belinda Carmichael. And I do have a podcast. It's very popping and going. It's Women Choosing to Win podcast. And I tell you, I just did an episode on yesterday. Go out there and view that. You can find me on Instagram, women_choosing to_win_. That's women_choosing to_win_. Instagram. Go out there and check me out. I'm on Facebook also, Belinda Porter Carmichael. Just go get some inspiration. I do have other pages, but I won't mention them today. But I do decorating. That's my heart. It's one of my passions. I'm out there on Facebook, as far as decorating, home decorating, making wreaths. I love doing those kind of things. And so I want to thank you again for just joining me. I hope this has blessed you. Please feel free to go on and subscribe to my channel and to like the button so that you can be notified each and every time that I uplift a video. Thank you again, and you find yourself having a great day.